Why has OpenAI managed to strike a deal with the Pentagon and Anthropic failed? Why are people moving from ChatGPT to Claude? Let me quickly explain. So Anthropic, the company behind Claude, will not allow their contract with the US Department of War to include the usage of their AI for fully autonomous weapons or mass surveillance of Americans. OpenAI claimed to have the same values and red lines, and yet they struck a deal. Anthropic's argument is that the law hasn't caught up with AI. And that's why I find this story really interesting. It's not just about companies standing up for their values or being bullied by governments. I think the most interesting point that Anthropic's CEO made was about the slowness of law, of Congress, and its inability to catch up with where the technology is at today. His point is that you can't rely on what's currently lawful to govern a technology that's getting more powerful by the day. It's getting twice as powerful every few months. In fact, the only people who can make good decisions on what it is and is not capable of, whether or not it can be trusted to completely autonomously fire weapons, are the people who built it. And currently Anthropic is saying it's not capable of doing that reliably, and to use it for that would be reckless, and therefore they're just not going to allow it. On the surveillance issue, I don't know if you know this, but right now the US government can legally buy your location data, your browsing history, your social media posts, all of it off the shelf from the tech companies. No warrant needed. That's already happening. But what AI does is just take it to a whole new level. It can take all that scattered data, stitch it into a complete live picture of your life automatically at population scale, right? And Anthropic's position was, just because it's technically legal today doesn't mean to say we should build the tool that supercharges it without revisiting the legality of that. After Anthropic refused to agree to their AI being used for all lawful purposes, as demanded by the Pentagon, Trump ordered federal agencies to stop using their services, and the Secretary of War labelled them a supply chain risk. OpenAI then quickly secured what seems to be a very similar deal. But really, the difference is that OpenAI agreed to the all lawful purposes language that Anthropic specifically refused in their contract. But OpenAI then layered on their own protections separately, so cloud-only deployment, meaning the AI models physically can't be loaded onto weapons in the field. They've got to use the cloud-based version hosted and run by OpenAI so that they can keep their own safety systems built in, which the Pentagon can't override. Plus, OpenAI engineers are going to be physically stationed at the Pentagon to keep an eye on things. Sounds great, similar principles, but it's a totally different approach. And Anthropic wanted the protections written into the contract, whereas OpenAI trust the technical setup and existing law to protect those red lines. But that comes with obvious problems, because if the law changes, or if the technical setup changes, or the administration and their approach changes, what falls into all lawful purposes could also change.